Earn your way to the Winter Paralympics. This is a 7th grade math review project. It takes about 2 weeks, depending on your students. And it also incorporates some language arts, geography, research, and some computer skills. So this is the student slide deck. This is what you're going to give to the students. And there'll be a separate one for the teacher, so you have a teacher key to all of the math tasks and some teacher instructions. So you're going to start out with explaining the project to your students. They're going to have 8 different challenges to overcome as they travel to different cities around the world to earn their spot on the Winter Paralympic team. And here's some of the different events. So they're going to answer math questions for each city they visit. So it's 8 different cities. They're going to learn about different cultures as they travel the world. They'll do a little bit of research, keep a journal of their experiences, keep track of their progress on a map, maintain a travel itinerary, and import photos of the different cities that they visit. So one thing you want to point out to the students is that every time they finish a slide, they're to click on the snowflake. If they do that, it will show them where to go next. Now, some of the slides are in order, but there is some back and forth. So if they click on the snowflake, they will know exactly where to go next. So the project's going to start with math task number 1. That's their first competition in Squaw Valley, California. It tells them a little bit about Squaw Valley. And to earn a bus ticket to Squaw Valley, they need to answer the math questions correctly. So the first one is adding and subtracting integers. Students just click in the text boxes and type their answer. I also have some printable copies. If you would rather give them a printable that they can work on at their desk, you can do that also. Now, if they don't get all of them correct, in my classroom, I'd send it back for them to correct their errors. And then when they get a score of 10, you type in the 10. Students need to know that they don't type in the score. That's for the teacher. And if they get that score of 10, they can click on the snowflake. And it'll show them that they earned their bus ticket to Squaw Valley. And I'm going to come back and just move this a little bit. And then they're going to do a little bit of research. So the first thing it asks them to do, and they're going to click in these 3 text boxes, is they're going to type in the current date and what sport they're competing in. So to find out what events are in the Winter Paralympics, students are going to click on this snowflake. It takes them to the very last slide, and these are the different events for the Winter Paralympics. They can look at these up online to find out exactly what they are, but once they've chosen their event, then they just click on the snowflake. Here it'll take them right back to slide 7. So now they type in their event, 2 things they'd like to see in Squaw Valley, and some foods that are eaten in that part of the country. Now it says when they get to the next slide, they're to fill out the top row, just the top row. So this is the itinerary, and Squaw Valley's already typed in for them. So they're just going to fill out this one row. Every time they come to this slide, they will be filling out a different row for a different city that they visited. So here they're going to type in the miles traveled from their home to Squaw Valley, California. So they'll have to get online and do some research on that. The current date, and then the type of transportation. If they're in the United States or North America, it's going to be a bus. If they're from another country, then it's probably going to be an airplane. But for these purposes, it's a bus. The next time they come, they're going to be typing in Vancouver, the miles from Squaw Valley to Vancouver, the date, and the transportation in this case will be a train. So then the next place they go is to the map. Let's see. Okay, and then once they get to the map, all they're going to do each time they come to the map is they're going to find their city and move it to the red dot that shows their city on the world map. So the first one is Squaw Valley, so they just click and hold on the edge, and they're going to move it up here next to the red dot that's Squaw Valley. The only other thing they do then is to click on the snowflake that's next to Squaw Valley, and that'll show them where to go next. Now they're going to fill out a little journal entry. They're going to make this up as if it were a story. They're going to type in what happens to them at their first Paralympic event in Squaw Valley. So they're going to talk about the sport that they've chosen and what might have happened to them at that first trial. Once they get that finished, and they want to type in complete sentences and use lots of detail, and then when they finish, they click on the snowflake. And the very last task for Squaw Valley is to import 3 photos. To do that, they're going to come up here to Insert, Image, Search the Web. Insert, Image, Search the Web. And then they get a little search box up here for Google Images. They're going to type in their city. In this case, it's Squaw Valley. And hit Enter. And then all of these pictures come up. So they're going to choose 3 different pictures and they're going to place them in these 3 white squares. Now you want to instruct them to click on something that's more of a square shape, because these that are long rectangles, it's going to be really hard to fit these into the box without distorting the picture. So choose something that's square shaped, click on it, and then click Insert. And now it's going to come up large on their screen. They're going to take a hold of one of the corners, click and hold, move it toward the center, and that makes it smaller. And then this little blue circle here will turn it. So if they click and hold, they can turn it into place. And they're just going to have to play with it until it fits into that white square. I'm going to move it up just a little bit. And then make it a little wider here. And then move it down here. Now they want to import 2 more pictures the same way for Squaw Valley. When they finish, they're going to be moving on to the next math task. So math task 2 is going to be a competition in Vancouver, British Columbia, and they're going to earn their train ticket. So a train ticket from Squaw Valley to Vancouver. Again, they have to answer math questions. This time it's multiplying and dividing integers. So they can just type in their answer here, or you can give them the worksheet to work at their desk. When they get a score of 10, click on the snowflake and it'll show that they've earned their train ticket to Vancouver. The next thing they're going to be doing, and we're going to do these same tasks for every city. So this time they're going to type in the day's date, the current date, and how many miles from Squaw Valley to Vancouver. So they've got to look that up. They're going to type in 2 things they'd like to see or visit in Vancouver, and foods that are eaten there. Then it gives them the instructions here at the end when they filled that out. When you get to the next slide, fill out the second row. So this time they're going to type in Vancouver, how many miles from Squaw Valley to Vancouver, the current date, and the transportation would be a train. So each time they come here, they fill out only 1 row for the current city. Now when they get to the map, this time they're going to find Vancouver, click and hold on the edge, and they're going to move it next to the red circle that represents Vancouver. And they're going to continue doing that throughout the project. And again, they're going to click on the snowflake that's next to Vancouver to show them where to go next. A new journal entry for what happened to them in their event in Vancouver. And then the last thing would be import 3 pictures of Vancouver. So they're going to repeat these same steps for every one of the 8 cities that they visit. Math task 3 will be distributive property. Math task 4 will be combining like terms. Then 1-step equations. Multiplying and dividing fractions. 2-step equations. And the last math task would be converting fractions, decimals, and percentages by filling out this table. Now, when students get all the way through the slide deck, they've gone to all 8 cities, they get a little congratulations, you're going to the Winter Paralympics. And they want to turn in their entire project for grading. Now, the teacher is given 2 different ways to grade. You can grade by points, which I've given you little points for each slide so you know how to do that, or by a rubric, so you can choose either way to grade it. Now, I have students that are going to finish ahead of many of the other students. So for those who finish first, I give them a little task of creating postcards so they can color a picture on one side and send their postcard, write the address and everything and their message home from each of the 8 cities. So that's kind of fun, and it keeps them busy till the other students have caught up. And you can display those in the classroom. So this is Earn Your Way to the Winter Paralympics, a 7th grade math review project.